Hello and welcome to Laytechs Weekly, episode 16 December 2020. Laytechs Weekly is brought to you by Laytechs Weekly is brought to you by Laytechs, your protection from tech ignorance. My name is Sean. This week's news, before we go to this week's news of the week, for those who are watching on YouTube or other video platforms that I may share, you can see here my very new M1 powered MacBook Air. So before we begin with our news of the week, I just acquired this device. I just unboxed this device last Sunday, a few days ago, and I've been testing it. And I will provide a little bit of a review on Instagram about what are my findings. But at the moment, I think I can safely say that battery power is actually quite good. From a full battery, I was using it since this morning at about 9:30 to 10 a.m. And I'm still at 70%. Of course, I'm not rendering videos or doing Photoshop stuff, so mostly document stuff, not fully stress testing yet. I will be editing this week's episode of Laytechs and Social Media Weekly on this device, and maybe next week I should be able to tell you if it actually holds up to its claim that it is faster than any other previous MacBook Air, and also most Windows devices. In any case, let's move on to the news of the week. Google's Look to Speak, it's an app called Look to Speak, lets you speak with your eyes. Quite an aptly named app, right? I did that again. The company just announced an experimental application that lets the speech and movement impaired use their eyes to select a few pre-selected phrases on their phones. It's now available to everyone on Android 9 and above, including including Android 1 users. By placing the phone just below the eye level, the user can select which phrase for the phone to speak out by aiming the eye at that angle. This tech has been here for quite a bit. Microsoft has been working for it for the longest time, but the problem is that it has always been beyond reach by everyday folks. It's very experimental, you need to buy into a special software and all that. But what Google is doing is it's bringing it to the masses. I mean, first of all, it's bringing it to Android 9.0 and above, which essentially in the next 2 to 3 years will cover maybe 98% of the world's mobile devices, and Android 1 as well, which Android 1 was initially built specifically for the emerging markets. So this is the part where Google says we are bringing this technology to everyone who has speech and movement impairment. All you have to do is do a preset of yes and no's, ups and downs, or good and bads and everything like that, and you give the recipient two option choice or 4 option choice, and all they need to do is use the eye tracker on a mobile device will track where the eyes are in terms of the location of the phone, and then be able to to automatically speak out, use the Google Assistant's voice to speak out the answer. It's actually the kind of technology where I would have hoped would come out when my grandfather was still here, and he had a stroke a few years back, and it was very difficult to communicate with him because he was already speech impaired and also motor impaired as well, movement impaired as well. So he was bedridden most of the time. He could do a little bit of sounds here and there, and we eventually was able to kind of understand where he was going when we asked a few questions. But it would be nice if this was here and he could hold on to it, and we could just ask him a yes or no question or whatever it is, and he can give specific answers. But I believe that this will help a lot of people in the long run. Good on you, Google. Samsung S21 and S21 Ultra teasers are out. Yes, I was wrong about it possibly being called the S30. S21 it is. There are 3 models: the S21 Proper, S21 Plus, and the S21 Ultra. The Ultra will sport curved screen, while the cheaper models flat screen. all models will come with 5G. It's not that bad actually. I personally think curved screens are a bit hard to maintain. I used to use the Note 5 and Note 8. They were curved screens. And the problem with curved screens is that, firstly, you need expensive screen protectors that wrap around your device so that your phone casing does not push the edge of the screen protector out, and then it collects dust and your screen protector starts flapping around in the corner. So you can't use the tempered glass ones. You need to use that special laminated type that wraps around so that even if you slap your casing around it, it actually overlaps each other. The second thing is that it wouldn't cost a bomb to replace when broken. I remember when I got friends who want to replace their curved screens, I guess even the OEM ones cost about $600-700 compared to an iPhone's one would be $300. So yeah, that's a massive difference. So I would go for the S21 or S21 Pro Plus, sorry, not Ultra. And then also there is the difference in the cameras and all the sensors and everything. And Ultra, as per usual, just refer to the Note 20 Ultra. But the only difference is that where the Note 20 Ultra has a camera with a massive bump, this is a lot more streamlined and it's tucked in a corner, so it looks a lot better, to be honest. It doesn't look as if it's protruding out like I don't know, like a sore thumb. It just looks better. Yes, there is one more thing, which is that the Brazilian regulation agency claimed that the S21 phones will ship without a charging brick and earphone. Funny, because I remember Samsung making fun of Apple doing the same thing just a few months ago. And if that is true, then I guess we are all doomed. Charging brick and earphones will be a thing of the past. A past that we will remember fondly. Microsoft confirms xCloud beta coming to iOS and PC. It will be out by Q2 2021 and it will support iPhone, iPad and PC via mobile web apps. This is good news considering the spat they had with Apple last September. Just a bit of a history. Apple initially did not allow cloud gaming platforms to publish apps on the iOS App Store, claiming the company cannot control what content goes into subscription services. Many, however, said that Apple just wanted to maximize the profits per game app instead of one subscription to access all games. Think about this. If I have a subscription that I charge $9.99 a month, let's just use that price. Okay, I think it's $15.99, but say $15.99 a month, right? To access 100 games, compared to if Apple is able to charge $15.99 per game purchase, it will actually be Apple would actually make more money charging $15.99 or $9.99 per game compared to $15.99 for 100 games. So that is what one side thinks why Apple did not allow these cloud gaming services to get into the App Store. Apple says that they want control, because control in the sense that they want to know what content goes into the subscription service and that they don't want some games that are not kid-friendly or whatever it is that gets into it and they cannot control, and it tarnishes the brand image and all that. So Apple then provided an alternative where gaming companies like Microsoft, Google, and Nvidia would be allowed their apps on the App Store, provided they submit all the titles for individual approval by the people at Apple. None of them agreed because they said that this will reduce the quality, because they said, what if not all the apps or not all the games can go through, right? And then the experience will be different. If you play on Android, you get 100 games. If you play on iOS, you get 80 games, that kind of stuff. And they decided to build mobile web apps to circumvent Apple's regulation, which is what they did. Microsoft xCloud beta will be available in certain countries and rolling out in stages to the rest of the world. I believe also Nvidia and also Google are building mobile web apps that try to circumvent Apple's regulation on the App Store. They will be also coming out very soon. Google hit by massive outage. Yes, you know this because we have all experienced this. Just 2 days ago, Google was hit by a massive outage that spanned across YouTube, Gmail, Search, Google Drive, classrooms, the entire enterprise suite, and everything else. For a moment there, everything under Google's universe was down globally. This showed how much of Google we really rely on a daily basis for work and play. Google's initial assessment said it was due to a glitch in identity management. That company wrote, and I quote, the root cause was an issue in our automated quota management system, which reduced capacity for Google's central identity management system, causing it to return errors globally. As a result, we couldn't verify that user requests were authenticated and served errors to all our users. Even after reading this a couple of times, I don't really understand what it means. I think it's that whenever someone, when someone logs in or does something with Google, they will be tracked with an identification, and that part of it is not available, and every single person who accessed Google was returned with an error, and because of that, nobody could access Google. It's not because the server was down or anything, it was because this connection between the user and Google services, where it authenticates every single user, that part of it is not working. Happy to announce that only lasted for maybe an hour or two, and Google is back to normal again. This week, there is no tech of the week, so I'll take a pass on that. So that's all for Laytechs Weekly this week. Laytechs Weekly is available on Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and more. Our full videos are available on YouTube, and we post bits and clips on Instagram and Facebook. This is Laytechs Weekly, episode 16, December 2020. My name is Sean. Stay safe, wear a mask, even though the vaccine is out. Au revoir.